Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Are you all very well? Let me test your powers of observation. Raise your hand if you can tell that I have a slight disability. It's the hair, isn't it? It's a dead giveaway, really. Or maybe it's the shoes. I always wear stupid shoes. My mother told me not to wear them. She said,
Lee, do you know what? Those shoes make you look disabled. Please don't wear them.
My mother doesn't sound anything like that. But no. If she did, she would have a job on Radio 4. I've no idea why I used that voice. It's great to be here. No, really. It's a miracle I made it down all the stairs in one piece. I do realize that it is pretty ironic that a disabled comedian is playing one of the most inaccessible venues in the city. I did invite some of my friends who use wheelchairs to the gig for a laugh. The lazy bastards haven't turned up yet. Just be careful on the stairs in case any of them are trying to crawl down. As you may be able to tell, I'm a struggling stand-up comedian who also struggles to stand up. To be honest, I'm not sure which I am worst at. I'll leave that for you to decide. But just so you know, if you don't laugh at the disabled guy, you are going to hell. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from around these parts of the country. So it's nice to be home in this generic town or city. I guess I better start by introducing myself, because one or two of you are looking very confused. Believe it or not, my name isn't really Lost Voice Guy. My parents were never mean enough to do something like that. At least that's what they told me to say whenever the nice lady from social services visited. In reality, they kept me locked in a room upstairs to hide me from everyone else. The local people were a bit afraid of me. They only let me out on special occasions. In fact, Anne Frank had it pretty easy compared to me. Incidentally, my diary is available to buy after the film. I can see that some of you are trying to figure out where you know me from. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those comedians who brags about being on the television a lot. But just so you know, I have been on television a lot. And I don't mean in a picture frame on top of my mother's TV. Mainly because it's the 21st century and that joke doesn't work with flat screens. I've appeared all over the world, in fact. My friend actually saw me on the news in India once. To be honest, I'm not sure I'm really reaching out to my target market. Maybe I should get a new agent. But if they want to book me for some gigs, I'll even try to find an Indian accent for my iPad. You probably don't recognize me from the television, though. I think my voice is more well-known than my face. Maybe it would help if I started saying phrases such as, "The next train to arrive on platform 4 is the 12:52 service to London King's Cross." And, from my time at the post office, please go to cashier number 4. I even had a job as the talking clock once, but it took me at least 10 seconds to type in the time, so I was always wrong. There's only a limited amount of work I can get as a voiceover artist, to be fair. Unless Stephen Hawking wants to release an audio version of one of his books, then there's pretty much no work for me at all. I am going to try to get more television work, though. I hilariously fall over all the time, so I'm surprised the BBC haven't offered me a sitcom yet. I'm also the perfect candidate to be one of the zombies in The Walking Dead. I wouldn't even have to act. They would just need to tell me where to walk. I also applied to go on the Channel 4 show, The Undateables, once. But I seriously got rejected. I'm still not sure whether to take that as a compliment or an insult. They either think that I'm actually dateable, or think that I'm so undateable that not even they can help. So now my only hope is that they bring back Robot Wars. Don't pretend you wouldn't love to see me and Hawking go head-to-head in the ring. I'd kick his clever ass. As you can see, most of my jokes write themselves. But that's the beauty of Autocorrect on the iPad. Of course, Autocorrect isn't always my friend. For those of you who don't know, Autocorrect is when the iPad tries to guess what you are typing and changes it for you. As you can imagine, this can become pretty annoying and slightly embarrassing when you use it as a communication aid. For example, I got some chewing gum stuck in my hair the other day. I asked my mother if she knew how to get it out. Sadly, it decided to say, "Do you know how to get gum out of my hair?" It got even more awkward when she knew exactly what to do. On a similar note, I asked my best friend if he had a pen I could borrow recently. I didn't expect it to say, "Can I borrow your penis?" We are no longer friends. I got thrown out of a paint shop when I said I wanted to defecate in the living room. Of course, I meant decorate, but by then it was too late. The shit had already hit the fan. Having a disability isn't all bad, though. It turns out that disabled people can get away with anything. I pushed a little child out of the way recently. I wasn't even in a hurry. I just wanted to test out my theory. It got worse for the kid when his mother shouted at him for not looking where he was walking. I am used to people getting out of my way when I'm walking down the street though. It's almost as if they are afraid they will catch something from me. I got straight to the front of the queue in accident and emergency recently as well. There was so many people with blood everywhere that I started to imagine that I was Moses and I was parting the Red Sea. I also got out of jury service this year by playing the disability card. Well, I said I was a member of UKIP, which is the same as having a mental disability. In fact, I've played the disability card that many times now that I've made an actual disability card. If I want to sit down on a busy train, I pull out the disability card. If I want tickets to a sold-out music concert, I pull out the disability card. If I see an attractive girl who is way out of my league, but obviously has a conscience, and who would probably sleep with me out of sympathy, I pull out more than just the disability card. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been Lost Voice Guy. If you find my voice, please contact me as soon as possible on Twitter or my Facebook page. You've been a fantastic audience. Even if you haven't, I can't really change what I say at this point.